Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome, Leonora. I am today interviewing Leonora Babb-Benjamin, and she is a clinical hypnotherapist. And I am here to find out a little bit more about her and her work and how she supports people. We only met very recently, so it's genuinely me asking questions that I want to know the answer to. So, welcome, Leonora.
Thank you very much, Jemima. Lovely to be here.
Yeah, lovely to have you here. Um, so yeah, I mean, I would love to know what led you down this path of clinical hypnotherapy. Was it from personal experience? What would you like to share with us?
Very good question. It was a little bit of that. I did help out someone who was studying to become a hypnotherapist by being like one of the clients. And so I had a
Mm.
little bit of exposure to that. And then I was introduced to the course and did a little bit of research myself. Had an interview with the person who was running the course and found that, oh, this sounded really good, and went along to the course. And literally, my mind was blown. I was blown away by what it does and what it was teaching me, and everything to do with the mind and how much we are controlled by it.
Mm.
And I still am to this day. So yeah, that's what kind of really led me to do it, and what sparked my enthusiasm in hypnotherapy as a whole.
Amazing, thank you. Yeah, I feel the same, and I kind of got to the same place through a different route years ago through yoga. So I kind of went in through the body, but then started to learn about the mind as well, and just learn
Mm,
about how we are run by it. You
mm,
know, our subconscious runs the
mm,
show.
mm,
And if
mm,
we're seeing results that we don't like, then that's a place to put our attention. So
mm.
who are your favorite people to support, or what are your favorite problems that you know that um, you can challenge and you can resolve using this modality?
Mm. Again, hypnotherapy covers a wide range of issues, but I have found that I have gravitated more towards the stress, anxiety, depression, low self esteem, and low confidence, because that resonates with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And, even personally speaking, going through life, I don't think you can go through life without experiencing at least one of those issues. So
Mm.
everyone has got a story to tell and an example, and it's quite easy to be empathetic with clients who exhibit those issues, because you would have gone down that road yourself. And once you are empathetic, clients would resonate with you, and therefore the therapeutic alliance that you have with the therapist and clients is a strong bond, and it will grow even more, because
Yeah.
you can just say to them, look, I understand, and I've
Yeah.
been down this road. So I tend to veer towards that. Yeah.
Lovely. I mean, it's the human condition, really, isn't it?
Mm.
You know, it's being able to come in and address some of those things that so many of us experience. Like I don't know of a person who hasn't experienced some level
Yes.
of stress or low
Mm.
confidence at some point in their life.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I sort of say, if you've got a pulse, you will suffer,
Yeah.
because that's the way life is. And look at the way things are at the moment. We are constantly bombarded, aren't we? From the moment we wake up, from the moment we go to sleep, we are bombarded with so many different things. And it's too much, it's overload. And remember, it's not just adults, it's children as well,
Mm.
because they're suffering too. And it's really finding a way to reach those people and say that there is help out there, and you don't have to necessarily always go to the GP and get their prescription for the pills, because that's another issue that people do, isn't it? They go there. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some people who do need help, who are psychotic and so forth. I understand that, but it's such an easy fix. People think that they go to the GP and they say they're run down, they're stressed, they're this, that, and the other. They don't have the time to investigate, literally 10 minutes that you've got. And the easiest thing is to do the prescription for those pills, isn't it? And there
Yeah.
you go. and then people unfortunately get hooked.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm very interested in the knock-on effect as well. So if
Mm.
you do you mainly deal with adults?
Yes,
Yeah.
I only deal with adults at the moment.
Okay, okay. So even so, those adults will have interactions with children, like whether they're parents or
Mm.
teachers or aunts and uncles,
Yeah.
because how we are totally impacts other people
Mm.
because they are having to come into our field.
Mm.
So, do you have any, or like, have you had any feedback from anybody that you have worked with about the maybe surprising impact of your work on their reality?
Um, Not so much directly. It's just really anecdotally, probably speaking to fellow practitioners as well,
Yeah.
who have got who have had clients. Some of them have had children as well,
Mm,
and how difficult it is to get that message, that kind of message across, because the child is confused, and very often they come in, and because of safeguarding, you might have a parent there as well. They might not necessarily be in the same room, but they'll be in the next room or something while they do the session. And don't forget, they sometimes haven't told their parents anything of what they're experiencing. And they then speak to the therapist, and sometimes the parents want to know what the therapist has said to their child. And you have to kind of have those boundaries from the beginning and say, look, and of course it depends on the age of the child, but the child might not want them to know, and it does put the therapist in quite a difficult position. But I think as long as people know what the boundaries are from before, so if they're 15, 16, I think the child has, their own idea or mind to decide, I don't want to let my mum and dad know. But if I think the youngest people I've had people say they've done is age 8. So
mm,
if they're that young, you may want to have an adult involved and say to the child that they have to be present so they will know, and that could create some kind of obviously issues if a child at 8 says they don't want them to know. So
mm,
that's the
mm,
only thing I have kind of heard anecdotally that creates a kind of issue when you're dealing with young people and children.
mm.
Yeah.
And what kind of impact have you experienced, either first or second hand, of this work on people who've really been struggling, but whether it be through, I don't know okay, let's start from the beginning. What kind of issues do people come to you with?
Well, come to me is mainly the stress and
Yeah.
the anxiety, but then, as I said, I can cover weight management, pain management, people who have fears and
Hmm.
phobias,
Hmm.
and people who also want to stop smoking.
Okay.
And as long as people want to change, change will happen.
Mm,
Okay, so there is no use saying, "Oh, I'm just going to try it and give it a go," but I'm not really committed. You have to, because we can't do that for you. You have to want to change. So if you've got that desire to change, then change will happen. But
mm,
hypnotherapy does work relatively quickly, but you have to give it effort. You have to work with it as well. And, you find that people, once they are engaged and once they want to work, they can see the transformative effects. And normally the question is, well, how long does it take? And it's like, well, how long is a piece of string? Because it's like different issues take different times for different people. But as a general rule of thumb, I say to clients, you probably need about 8 weeks to sometimes before you can see the change coming into effect. And you've got to remember that there's people who have spent, practically their whole adult life thinking in a certain negative way.
yeah.
And to try and break them out of that is going to take some effort. And the analogy I use is like going to the gym. You're not going to be able to change your body shape by going to just one session. You have to keep on going. And it's the consistency of approach that will give you the desired results. So you make the decision, you say that you want to change, and you do the work to affect that change. And it is completely transformative because you have a way of thinking that's always been negative because of the negative messages that you put into your stress bucket. And you say to yourself, well, what do I want in the future? How do I want to get there? And work out the steps in which you're going to do that. You drive a stake in the ground and you say, from now on, this is where I'm going to be. Because the hypnotherapy I practice is solution focused hypnotherapy. So we help you to find a solution to the issues and not so much dwell on the issues that brought you to see us in the first place. So
Yeah.
you kind of like let the past go. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about that anymore now. Let's see where we are now and work towards the future that we desire. And so you
Yeah.
do those steps to do that, achieve that.
That's great. And there's a lot of resonance in what you say there, with what I do in coaching and how I differentiate it from
Yeah.
counseling.
Yes.
So for me, counseling is looking back there. It's like,
Yes.
okay, let's
Yeah.
resolve what happened
Yeah.
back there. And sometimes for sure that needs to be
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But coaching is definitely different because we're looking
Mm.
at what is it we want to create.
Yes. Very much
And
so.
this sounds very similar, it's
Yes.
like, okay, so what do I want to create? Whether it's my
Yes.
new identity as
Yes.
somebody who doesn't smoke, or somebody
Mm.
who is relaxed, or
Yes.
somebody who doesn't struggle with a particular phobia,
Yeah.
what do I want to create? And then
Yeah.
you're helping them to create that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because it's like you say, when you have like regressive therapy, it's kind of like picking at an old wound, right? You don't
Mhm.
get it to heal, but we want to move forward.
Yes. Yeah. Very
Mm,
exciting.
mm,
So, in an ideal world, if you could wave a magic wand and impact so many people across the board, what would be your ultimate vision?
Good question. It's funny enough because I use that miracle question with clients as well.
Oh,
If you
really?
have a
Oh,
magic
wow.
wand,
How
if you have a
interesting.
magic wand, ping, how would your world look if you didn't have the issues around that you came in to see me for?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
almost,
So it's slightly
yeah,
different.
yeah,
It's like,
yes,
it's more
yeah.
like, what do you want to create for the world via this vehicle that you have at your disposal, which is the
Mm,
clinical hypnotherapy.
therapy.
If you could
Okay,
wave that
well,
magic wand and impact so many people, tell me a little bit about that vision.
yeah. For me, I think it's knowledge.
Okay.
People knowing what hypnotherapy is because of the myths and misconceptions people have about it, but knowing what it is and how it can help and benefit them. I think that's the greatest thing. So that when you do need it, when you feel that things are getting a bit on top of you, when you feel that you are stressed, that you don't feel valued at work, or you feel panicked if you've got a presentation to do, or a driving test or an exam, any kind of stressful situation, you just know that there is a choice, there is another way. You don't have to suffer in silence. I think knowing that and thinking that there is something out there called hypnotherapy, I know a little bit about it. Let me look more into it and see if there's someone local that would be able to help. So I think just having another way, and there's no pills and drugs involved. It's
Yeah.
just you. You have it within you to change. It's just
Mm.
bringing it out, right? So that's got to be good. So
Oh,
just
it's
having that
amazing.
knowledge that someone's out there to help you.
It's so empowering.
Yeah,
I mean,
quite.
the phrase that sticks out to me is to know that you have a choice. And I think so often in the stress of the mind, we can
Mm,
forget really easily
yeah,
that we do have a choice,
yeah,
that
yeah.
we might not like the choice, but we do have
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And yeah, I love that.
Mm,
Empowering
mm,
people really to have
mm,
that self-knowledge and to
mm.
have those tools within
Yes,
themselves so
yes,
that they
yes,
can create outcomes they want rather than
yeah,
outcomes they don't want.
yeah. Because you must know that so many people suffer in silence.
Yeah,
So many people suffer in silence. Years
still.
of burnout. Still,
Mm, I know.
how does that make you feel? I mean, it's terrible.
It's such a throwback, isn't it, from our conditioning from years
Yeah.
and years ago. If I even just think about my parents' childhood and upbringing,
Mm.
so not the done thing to talk about
Yes.
struggles or your
Yes.
feelings or any of
Yeah.
that stuff,
Yeah.
that's only
Yeah.
a generation away,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've still got work to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And we're here to do it. We're up for the challenge.
that's it. Yeah, just to help people to understand that
Yeah.
it might still feel like a new path. It might still feel scary. It might not be the norm
Mm,
yet, but
mm.
we can start to make it the norm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
so good. I love it.
Mm, mm,
I love
mm.
it. So if somebody was kind of considering coming to see you, but they're a bit scared and a bit like, oh, I don't know, like what would you say to them to kind of make them feel safe or encourage them, or do you think it's a scary process when they come and see you?
Not at all. I don't bite.
No.
I don't bite. I mean, I'll have a conversation. I'll have a conversation with them beforehand because that will put them more at ease and to
Yeah.
explain to them exactly what's involved. Because, as I said, there's a lot of myths and misconceptions. So I think once you talk and explain to that, as with a lot of things in life, you kind of understand it better, don't you?
Yeah.
And the way hypnotherapy works is that if after I've spoken to them, I think, oh, yes, this is something I'd like to try, there is an initial consultation, which is free for an hour and there's no obligation. So
Mm.
in that hour, we delve more into what is it, the issue, what are the issues and what is it that you want out of the sessions, and just to find out whether they are suitable for hypnotherapy, because it's not for everybody, and
Mhm.
whether they want to become on board and have any questions. And it's not until after that hour they then make a decision if they want to follow through with further sessions.
Great. So it's experiential, really, that
Yes,
you're offering them the opportunity to come
yes,
in and
yes,
have an experience of what it's
yes,
like.
yes,
And then if they feel at ease and they feel like, yes, let's give it a go, great. If they
yeah,
go, oh my God, no, this is not for me.
that's
As you
fine.
know, so I'm sure some people would be like that. I can think of
Absolutely.
some
They're
people
not
very
ready.
close to me who would
Yeah,
not undertake this for
yeah.
various reasonings. But
Mm,
but yeah, I think that's a
mm,
great way of
mm,
doing it,
mm,
because
mm.
people have to feel safe, don't they, to
They
take
have to feel safe and they have to be ready. And they may just have found out about hypnotherapy and think it sounds good. I want to try it, but probably not just now. And that is perfectly okay, because once you're in it, you have to feel engaged. Because if you go on board and you do the sessions and you're not really connected, you're not really wanting to do it, it's not going to work, is it? You're just going to be
No.
half-hearted, and it's just going to be a waste for you. So yeah, just give yourself time.
Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Mm.
My final question is, if people do want to get in contact with you, what's the easiest and best way? Do you have a website, or is it a social account or LinkedIn, or what's your favorite way for
All of the
people to
above.
connect with you?
in
Hey?
this social media driven world, it's like all of the above. But I think the easiest way is probably to go on the website, because when you go there, there's a contact form and it gets all the information about what I do. And
Yeah,
it's Leonora, that's spelled LeanoraBB, Bravo Bravo, hypnotherapy.com.
that's fine. The link can go underneath the video so people got it nice and
Yeah,
easily. But
yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. And I
Yes.
look forward to knowing a bit more about you in the future. But
Yes.
thank you for turning up. That's really, really fun. And yeah,
No,
I wish you
thank you.
lots of
Thank
success. You're
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you very much. And thank you for your time. I really appreciate that.
No problem.